Peace and light, family. I wanted to share something with you this morning. Do you know that your perception of reality can be distorted if you're dehydrated? And the reason why I say this, right, is because that we already know that waves move through different mediums, right? And water is one of those mediums that it moves through as well as air, right? So based on what it goes through can then change the perception of what it is or what it is that you actually see, because the way that light bends as it goes through a medium, gives a different interpretation of what that light is, right? So as for the sun gives off different gases. Those different gases are then broken down to different light spectrums, right? And as you can see down here at the bottom of this chart is an electromagnetic spectrum, right? Of visible light, which I kind of wanted to focus into, right? And you can see the breakdowns from high frequency and low wavelengths, right? So this is the more of the healthier side of things to which we're moving, right? And evolution is kind of pushing us towards this side of the chart, right? This is more so where we're coming from, right? We're coming from the low frequency, the high wavelength, right? And we're transitioning into a higher frequency. So that's more so what that 5G is all about, right? It's a part of the evolutioning of society. It's a part of moving things forward, right? Because things have to grow, things have to evolve. So as we continue to move down this process of raising our vibrations, we need different things that actually are comparable to our vibrational frequency, right? So I know a lot of us are against the 5G for the problems that it may be causing now and the problems that it's going to start to cause in the future. But understanding that as far as evolution is concerned, it's really not, anything that stays still basically is dead as far as life is concerned. All right. So that means that there's no movement, there's no energy into it, right? It's just dead, it's deceased, it's non-living at that point in time, right? So as well as for evolution, it has to continue to move, it has to continue to move forward, right? So we're moving into a higher plane of existence at this point in time. Now, the reason why I say water distorts your reality, right? Because now if you can go a step up and we talk about electromagnetic waves, an electromagnetic wave is a transverse wave that transfers energy through electric and magnetic fields, right? The electromagnetic spectrum shows different types of electromagnetic waves arranged according to their frequency and wavelengths. So that's what I have broken down to it, right, as far as the electromagnetic spectrum. But how does that interact with the dehydration of our eyes? So, right, you have rods and cones in the back of your eyes that actually reflects or refracts the light that enters through your cornea, right? And now your eyes are made up of aqueous humor, which is like 90% fluid of water and so forth, right? So because you have such high volume of water that are in your eyes, now I want to show something to you real quick. And this is actually my light, poster, right? And now if you see how light is actually distorted, right? We already know that white light enters a prism and it is broken up into the visible spectrums that we have here, right? And then, we have a lot of fruits and vegetables that are actually in those different type of color ranges, right? So we wonder what holds what type of value. And now this white light that comes from the sun that is broken down into these colors are then stored, right, into the different types of things that we eat. So it's passing messages, and those gases are actually the light colors. All right. So the sun holds all these different gases within it. And when you break down the gases in the sun, it gives you these different types of light spectrums. OK, so actually I'm kind of going back and forth through a whole lot of different things. But if you understand the complexity of our skin pigmentation, right, and we talk about white people and black people, this is one of the things that actually breaks that down as well, too, because you understand that black is an absorbent of sun. And we need more sunlight as far as melanin is concerned, right? And as far as our health, right? So we know that black people absorb sunlight, right? We need it, right? As for white people, they don't need as much sun, right? Because we already know that white light is a reflection, right? It is a reflection. And the prism refracts it and breaks that up and shows you the different spectrums, right? So now if you look at white people and white people's skin pigmentation, they can be a lot of these different colors in the rainbow, right? And you can see them red, you know what I mean? You can see when they blushing, you can see them, you know, yellow or green. If they sick or they bruised, they get different pigmentations and colors at that point in time as well. So they are a reflection, right? It says right here, when an object reflects all colors of visible light, the object appears white, okay? Which is another reason why they see themselves in God, right? Is because the sun gives off a white light, okay? So how else could you not explain that other than this diagram that, I mean, this poster that says right here, it says when an object reflects all colors of visible light, the object appears white. So if the sunlight is giving off a white light and you reflect, you know, all colors of the visible light, then it would lead you to believe that, right? Or it says for us, it says for black people, when an object absorbs all colors of visible light, the object appears black. Okay, so this is just basically telling you the breakdown of who and what we and how we see things, right? So I touched on that, and I'm kind of working my way backwards now. So now we talk about the refraction, right? So the refraction is the way that light hits water. So once light actually penetrates through the surface of water, it refracts. All right, it reflects on the surface and it refracts underneath. Once it refracts that light, we don't know how or what angle that light is penetrating once it breaks through that medium, that surface medium of water. So now our eyes have a surface medium of water too, that once it goes through, that it then refracts that light, refracts that light on the cones and the rods that gives us our perception of what we see as color. Okay, but now if you're dehydrated and once you start to pull resources from different areas, you might not have as much fluid in your eyes as you think, right? So now you're talking about a distortion of your reality, because now the insides of your body is not getting the same perception as what the environment is now giving off. And now when the environment is now giving off, now you're talking about your pineal gland is misfiring and giving the wrong information to the rest of the cells in your body to operate, right? Because they have no perception of what light is, and they have no perception of what dark is at that point in time, and it throws off. So now how are they able to operate? All right.